The blame game continues, or at least the don't blame us game continues relative to all of the plane crashes that are taking place. It seems every other day or so we're having pretty remarkable events in American aviation, the likes of which we did not see during Joe Biden's administration, the likes of which we didn't see during Barack Obama's administration. It is remarkable. And now we have the transportation secretary out here. Don't look at us. Look somewhere else. For those of you trying to blame this administration, boo! And then I have a second clip where he's on Fox News. That's Newsmax. Then I have him on Fox News making the claim and then ditching it right away because he realizes it's absolutely a fact-checkable bullshit remark that air crashes happened, but they were more under Biden than Trump. What? We would know. We would remember if 67 people died in a plane crash during Joe Biden's administration. We would know that, Sean Duffy. But because what you see with your eyes is not what you're actually seeing and happening, is happening, it's Orwellian with these freaks. Anyway, first, watch this clip of him on Newsmax really just trying to divert blame away from Donald Trump and the absolute correlated items of all the people they're firing within safety mechanisms of the FAA. And then all of a sudden, no shocker, bad shit happens. Watch Sean Duffy on Newsmax.
To cast blame on this administration for the policy failures of the last 4 years and say it's our fault is outrageous, but it's rich. So I want to talk quickly about the FAA. Yeah. So it's true that less than 400 people were laid off at the FAA. There's 45,000 employees there. So this is 0.89%.
I'll tell you what's rich. He used that turn of phrase in there. It's rich for him to be saying those things while video, B-roll plays of a Delta Airlines jet upside down after having crashed at an international airport in Toronto, Canada. That's what's rich. That don't blame us as a horrific incident. Luckily, no one was killed. But that's what's rich. Sean Duffy, MTV reality show star Sean Duffy, who finds himself now in a position to be pivotal in the safety of Americans all over the country who, and all over the world, by extension of his job, who travel on the roads, who travel by rail, who travel by airplane. You say it's rich, while there's Pete Buttigieg did his job with exemplary professionalism. If something happened, the administration took its lumps and said, "Look, yeah, we got to change the way things work. We need to adjust." Instead, it's just like, we did nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Yeah, are we firing 400 people who work within the safety mechanisms of the FAA? Yeah, we did, but who cares? It's fine. Everything's fine. January 29th, 67 people dead. Airplane crash right here in Washington, D.C. January 31st, 7 dead when a Learjet crashed in Philadelphia. The 5th of February, no one died, but two planes collided on a runway, another Delta incident. 10 dead on February 6th when a plane crashed in Alaska. 10 dead. 4 days later, on the 10th, 1 dead when a plane crashed in Scottsdale. On the 12th, a fighter jet crashed into the San Diego Bay. 2 military pilots ejected. They weren't killed, thank God. And then on the 16th, 2 dead when a plane crashed in Covington, Georgia. This is approaching 100 people dead, but tell me again how it's not our fault. In fact, more of this happened during Biden's administration. Watch this.
But again, air crashes happen, but there were more under Biden than Donald Trump. But the point here is we want to get to a place where we have 0 crashes. We don't want people to die in aircraft, which is why what I've done is focus on how do you upgrade the system. But Will, you look at what's happened, the airspace around DCA, that was allowed to stay open under the last administration. The inspections that were done of the aircraft that have crashed, that was done under the last administration. So it is rich that they would come at this administration for the mistakes that they've made and blame us for the crashes. We're going to fix what they refused to fix over the course of their 4 years. And that's the mission of this department.
Anybody, somebody, whoever it may be, email me daily@dollemore.com. Call me on the phone number 714-576-4054 and provide me evidence of these types of incidents that I just talked about before the clip happening during Biden's administration. When was the plane crash during Biden's 4 years that involved 67 dead or 50 dead or 20 dead or 10 dead? Come at me. Get at me with that information. I need to know. I need to know what Sean Duffy's talking about, but they were more under Biden than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's in office now. Donald Trump's been in office since January 20th at noon, and the first where 67 people lost their lives was on the 29th. After Donald Trump fired a bunch of people in air safety and air traffic control. It's not a bunch of janitors. It's not custodial people. It's not office staff we're talking about. That's bad. Those lives are upended from getting fired. We're talking about people who work within the mechanisms, within the infrastructure of the FAA that is responsible for safe air travel. Just like the nuclear regulatory employees that were fired and then desperately like, oh shit, we got to get those people back. They're critical to the national security of the United States. It's just dumb fuckery run amok with these people, up to and including our reality star president who hired a reality star transportation secretary. I invite you to this conversation. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line once again, 714-576-4054, and email me daily@dollemore.com. I want that evidence, MAGA. Bring me the evidence, trolls. That's all I seek. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there, and I'm going to go. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.